Live from Stanford, this is Tefillah TidBit. I'm standing on Atlantic Street in front of the famed Palace Theater, but I'm standing outside the Palace Theater, which reminds me of a very famous parable of the Baal Shem Tov, which describes this time of year. The Baal Shem Tov says that normally if one wants to speak to the king, you have to make an appointment, go to the palace, get through security. It's not easy, it's not simple, and you may not even get that appointment. But during this time of year, the weather is nice and the king is traveling throughout the kingdom, and the king will pull up with his entourage to a certain place, and as he's waiting for all the administrative stuff to happen, he's standing there and he's in the field. And the king is in the field. And you can just approach the king. The king is much more relaxed, much more willing to talk. And that's really what the month of Elul is all about, is being outside the palace. You know, in 1929, Andrew Jackson invited all the American people that were at his inauguration on March 4th into the White House, a tradition that had come way before him since Jefferson. And they trashed the White House. 20,000 people came. It was a disaster. And it was already until 1885, President Grover Cleveland decided on his inauguration there would not be opening up the White House. They would just be a parade, which he watched from a stand. So at this time of year, we're thinking about the palace, and specifically the ability to speak to the king outside the palace. In the davening of the high holidays, we say, Ve'edah kol pa'ul ki ata pa'alto. Everything that's created should know that God created it. Ve'yavin kol yitzur ki ata yitzarto. Everything that had been molded, we know that God molded. Vayamar kol asher neshama v'yapo. And anything that has a soul in its nostrils shall say, Hashem Elokei Yisrael Melech, that our God is the king, and he's approachable, and he's outside the palace. Let us continue focusing on this theme during the month of Elul. We'll see you in Shul.